First, we have your base. The base has an on-off switch here on the left and a high variable switch on the right, as well as a variable dial that goes from variable 1 to 10. Now the variable dial is what you would use, the variable speed dial is what you'd use for things like smooth salsas or things that you want to have texture with. The high speed setting is the highest speed that the blender operates at, and it's great for smoothies, thick mixtures like dips, or if you have something that's processing a lot of frozen fruit into a puree or something, you want to use your high speed setting. Now there is a proper way to turn the machine on. I'm going to demonstrate that for you. You want to make sure the variable speed dial is selected. You make sure your variable speed dial is at 1. Turn the machine on, increase to 10 relatively slowly. Walk it back down to 1 and turn the machine off. When you're doing a high speed blend, you want to do the same thing, walk it to 10, and then you're going to select high. Now that high position is what you want to use for things like smoothies, dips, anything that's really thick or you want a very smooth texture with. Okay, so I want to show you also something else about this base. You have a cord wrap, and it conveniently hides your cord for easy storage. So you can wrap the entire thing underneath. When you get your blender out of the box, it'll be completely hidden underneath here. And it does extend to 6 feet, so there's plenty of room to plug into wherever you're going to be using your blender. It comes with a lid plug. And this lid plug is also a 2-ounce measure. And all you do is you unplug it, unlock it, and it pulls right out. Now some of the newer lids, they're brand new, of course, so they're going to stick a little bit. So with time and with using them, it's going to be a lot easier to remove. One unique feature of the VITAMIX is this tamper. The tamper is absolutely necessary to process thick mixtures, and as you can see, with the lid properly in place, the tamper does not hit the blades. It does not matter how much you jam that in there to get the ingredients processing, it will never, ever, ever touch the blades. Now, one thing I wanted to tell you too is that there is an automatic shut-off protection. And basically what that means is if you're blending something very thick, very heavy, maybe the room that you're blending in is very hot, the motor protects itself by shutting off. So once it gets to a certain temperature, it'll just completely shut out. You will have no power, nothing. And that's actually preventing it from breaking. So it's a wonderful safety mechanism. How you get your machine up and running again is to take the container off the base, make sure your power is down, is off, unplug the unit, and you can place the base either in a cool room near a window or even in a cooler for about 20 minutes. 20 to 45 minutes, it'll come back and be fully functioning. So the way to load the container is extremely important when making smoothies. First, you want your liquids. So I'm a little bit backwards, but I'm going to put a little bit of water in here. And that's just to make sure that the consistency of the blend is nice. And first you start with your juicy ingredient. So here I have some grapes that of course are naturally juicy and very sweet. It's always a good base to use for a smoothie. Some fresh pineapple, nice big chunk there. We're going to put some banana in there. Bananas are nice for texture, it makes it real creamy, plus it's a nice sweet fruit. And then the next set of things you put in there are the harder vegetables or fruits. So put some zucchini, put some cucumber, which is real nice, gives a nice flavor, some carrots, and we're going to also now put our leafy vegetable in. And this is spinach, but you can go ahead and use kale, you can use Swiss chard, you can use romaine, really any leafy green that you like. And this is about, I don't know, 4 cups or so. And as you can see, I'm packing it all the way to the top. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot my apple. We're going to put this apple on top, just a little quarter of an apple. And finally some ice. And I prefer to use frozen fruit. In this particular smoothie, to maintain the green color, you'd have to use frozen pineapple, frozen peaches, or frozen mango. And I prefer frozen pineapple because it's got that real sweet taste, but instead we use the fresh pineapple today. So you can put ice instead. But the frozen fruit is nice because you can get a real intense fruit flavor without diluting it. Sometimes too much water or too much ice will dilute the flavor. Okay, now this may or may not need our tamper, but you always want to keep it on hand and close by. Again, the variable switch is down, and we're starting at variable 1. And I'm going to blend this one on high for about 30 seconds or so. Okay, beautiful green color, really, really smooth. Okay, now I want to show you a very simple, basic fruit smoothie. In fact, this is my absolute favorite. It's bright red in color, and it's so incredibly sweet. All it is some grapes and some frozen strawberries and a little bit of ice. Now this recipe works so well because even if your strawberries aren't in season, and sometimes when you buy them frozen, you don't always know what you're going to get, the grapes always make it really sweet, which brings me to another point. When you're making any smoothie, if you make it like that green smoothie we made earlier, and you don't like it, if it's not sweet enough, you don't think the children will eat it, or it's just not right, there's a few ways you can actually fix it without having to dump it all out. One is to add more grapes, because grapes always add that sweet, intense flavor. Make sure that they're green grapes, because red grapes will make it brown. Fresh pineapple or frozen pineapple will also sweeten it really nicely, as well as a half a banana, a ripe banana. So adding a little bit of those kinds of ingredients will completely transform your smoothie and make it a lot sweeter, and I guarantee the kids will love it. So we're going to blend this one the exact same way on high speed for about 30 seconds, and then I'm going to show you some other things after that that's kind of neat. Okay. Okay, now this is just, like I said, a basic fruit smoothie, and it's really sweet. Kids will love this. Now, I'm going to call this build a smoothie. So if you have a nice base smoothie like this, you can add to it and create a breakfast smoothie. Now, normally, once you get your recipe set, you don't have to do it in 2 parts like I'm doing right now. You put all the ingredients in at the same time. But this is a good way to actually build a smoothie that you think the kids will like. So we have a half a banana added, and I'm going to add a half cup of oatmeal. And we're going to go ahead and blend this. And you can also add some more strawberries if you'd like to make it a little richer red color. But this is a wonderful way to get a very high fiber, hearty breakfast smoothie in for the morning. I just added regular rolled oats, nothing fancy. And the VITAMIX processes this so smoothly that you don't taste any of that grittiness. You just have a very hearty breakfast smoothie for the children to enjoy and start their day with. I want to show you how smooth this actually is. And this recipe, there's no dairy in it. You could, of course, add, along with your banana and oatmeal, you could also add yogurt, or you could add soy milk for your vegan children, but I chose just to do a non-dairy version just for the video. And as you can see, beautiful. One more technique I'd like to show you is something similar to a food processor. We call it chopping. It's a dry chop. And I'm going to go ahead and chop some carrots and some onions. And it's really a kind of a neat thing to show everybody. I'm going to select a variable speed of about 4. I'm going to turn the machine on. Make sure, again, your variable speed is selected. That might be a little fast. I'm going to bring it down to 3. And the beauty of this variable dial is you can start slower and then increase it to increase the fineness of your chop. I'm going to go ahead and drop in some onion. I'm going to increase it a little bit to get a little finer. And that's it. You've got chopped onion that you can use for omelets or anything that you're going to need a chopped vegetable for. I'm going to put this back on. I'm going to go ahead and put the carrots in as well. And these are cut into big pieces, so I'm going to grab a few. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on again. And drop them in one at a time. And that's it. You've got chopped carrots and chopped onions. How convenient. All right, one of the last things I want to show you is how to properly clean your blender after you're finished. Now, it cleans up very simply, but it's a good idea after every batch of blending that you're doing to give it a good wash. Well, what we have here is just about 3.5 cups of water, literally 1 drop of soap, dish soap, and you're going to blend this on high speed for about 15-20 seconds. And this should get off a lot of the residue that's left in the container from blending. And after this, you simply rinse it out and let it air dry. Now, there may be a time when you're doing something thick like that hummus where you might need to get a brush in there or a sponge, and that's fine as well. Just use a little bit of soap, get it down in there. If you're using something without a handle, just be very careful that you don't cut your fingers.